But for number 4, the man on your screen, a rough start. He had two interceptions and was sacked 6 times. It was bad. Well, the 0-1 Browns are facing the 0-1 Jags. If you start 0-2, there's a 10% chance you make the playoffs. There is no bigger game one could suggest for playoff contingency besides the Browns and the Jags. Mark that one down on your calendar. Shady, let's talk about Deshaun, man. We have to. It's Sunday Deshaun's last chance.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's bad, right? And I don't say that word often, but if you're bad, you are bad. I think with Deshaun Watson, when you look at him, you look at all the success he had in Houston, right? That's what stuff I'm still stuck on. Now when I watch him, he looks like 2 different people. And my question is, what's the difference between him and a backup, right? Seriously, though, when we talk about...
Jameis Winston or DTR.
Yep.
Yeah.
Money.
Other than the money, and the money's already spent. So now we're trying to win games, right? We need to hold off on offense until our best player comes back, and that's the running back, right? So I just feel like right now, if you want to put him as your starter, how long? How long is this leash going to last? Because he looks bad. He looks worse and worse every single week. Now, you look bad against the Cowboys, right? Now, this week, who they got?
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, right? It's not as good, but they still solid. He loses that game. Now you're 0-2. Then what happens? It's time to move on from Deshaun Watson, man. And another thing is, after this year, I don't see him as a starter. Because we all keep believing that, one day he's going to show back up. The Houston Texans quarterback, Deshaun Watson's going to show up.
Usually every NFL season, I don't know how they do it now because it's 17 games, but you break it up in quarters, right? The first 4 games is the first quarter. That's how we attacking it. Next 4, it's the second quarter. You get done with that, right? I at least would give them the first quarter. You have 4 games to show me that can you get back to that Deshaun Watson? Because like Shady said, the money already spent.
Spent, bro.
If you are not going to give us more than the backups are going to give us in winning football games, we have to put you on the bench. Because I don't know if y'all know, and we talk about quarterbacks going to Cleveland and dying and not playing well. Joe Flacco came off of his love sack, all right, cushion, and went out there and won games and got the Coach Stefanski Coach of the Year. And he played well, 300-yard game, 300-yard game, 300-yard game, game after game after game. So don't tell me it's the coach, don't tell me it's the system, don't tell me it's Cleveland, because we've seen this dude come off the couch and play at a high level and help get this team to the playoffs. So Deshaun Watson, you have 4 quarters. That's 4 games, and it's 3 games left to show us that you are our quarterback for this season. I got to see it.
Chase, final thought.
The leash is short. I mean, look, I agree with both of you guys. At the end of the day, everyone wants to talk about the contract and the guarantees and the lawsuits, and rightfully so, right? But it's more about a humanity issue, right? The whole world is watching a player struggle. The whole world's watching a human being struggle. He lost his father last week. Then over the friend, he lost his college teammate. He was surprised with the newest lawsuit, right? He's bringing some of this stuff on himself. At the end of the day, though, there's a black cloud surrounding him, and it feels like that in the locker room. It feels like that watching him. It feels like he's a shell of himself. Can he get back to the old 2019, 2020 Texans days? I don't know. The entire city of Cleveland, they want to win, man. And when the entire city of Cleveland is not behind you, the city's rooting for the Browns. They're not behind Deshaun. Eventually, if you're Kevin Stefanski, you got to show up in a way that tells me you're a 2-time Coach of the Year. Like, you got to show some leadership. And he's got to help Deshaun out. And I don't know how it is. I don't know how many more times. I think it's probably what you were saying, James, a quarter, 4 games. Eventually, though, you got to do what's right for the city, and that's going to be playing DTR, or that's got to be playing Jameis Winston.
I mean, he went from averaging 300 yards a game his last year in Houston. He hasn't done it since he's been in Cleveland. I don't know how much more we can wait for this dude. Last year, the year before, I've been like, man, he's going to come around. He's going to come around. I'm tired of it. I can't keep lying to my people out there in the world. I can't keep lying. It's a wrap.
You ain't lying.
Hey, get the clipboard, bro. We all been through it. We all been through it.
Patriots, both literally and figuratively speaking, in the season opener. Joe Burrow, get this, he only threw for 164 yards. And the Patriots, who we didn't even know if would win 1 game this season, dismantled the Bengals, at least when it comes down to the spread. Now, since he will try to avoid going 0-2 when they face off, against the Chiefs on the road Sunday. This is maybe the biggest rivalry in a league where it's hard to find rivalries. Unlike college, where you have Ohio State's, Michigans, you have Auburn's, Alabama's, the NFL, it can be harder to find rivalries. But this rivalry was born through Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. So let me start with you, James. You said something yesterday that has the whole world in a frenzy. If y'all missed it, James will likely say it again. Turn your volumes up. James, is Joe Burrow's reputation on the line?
I'm not necessarily going to say his reputation's on the line, but Joe Burrow playing well is on the line. All right, we keep on giving Joe Burrow pass after pass after pass after pass, and I believe Joe Burrow's an elite quarterback in this league, right? That's why we put him up there with the Josh Allens and the Patty Mahomes, because he came in as the #1 pick to a really bad organization, and he helped them win. But if we really keeping it a buck and we're keeping it 100, the last year or so, he's been a bad quarterback. Joe Burrow started 1-3 last year. He had 0 touchdown passes in 3 of those games. I don't know if y'all know, but this is the worst offensive skill positions he has had, and that's crazy to say because he still has 2 #1 wide receivers, and we sitting here saying it's the worst offense he's had. No Joe Mixon, right? You don't have Tyler Boyd as your #3 receiver. Joe Burrow got to show me he can play well. And yes, we put you up there too because you were one of the main ones that can beat Patrick Mahomes consistently. But in the last year or so, you have not gotten better, you have gotten worse. And we could blame it on injuries, we could blame it on anything we want, but it's a lot of quarterbacks in our league that have dealt with injuries, and we don't care nothing about it. But somehow with Joe Burrow, we care a lot about it, right? And we want to put those injuries over him playing well. Joe Burrow has to go out here against a really good Kansas City Chiefs football team and play well. I don't really care if you win, but I need to see that Joe Burrow that we put up there with the Josh Allens and the Patty Mahomes, because right now, the first beginning of the year last year and starting this season, I have not seen that Joe Burrow in a long time on the football field, and I need to see it. So I think this is a game to where it ain't really reputation because he's done a lot of good things in this league, but he has to get back to playing well.
It's not about reputation at all. You know, it's just about him going out there and playing. We're talking about like a non-top 3 quarterback. In my opinion, he's a top 3 quarterback.
Yes, he is.
Like right on the line. You know, it's Patrick Mahomes, it's Josh Allen, and it's either like Lamar or Burrow, in my opinion. Like they're sort of interchangeable depending on how they play, right? So at the end of the day, I do think that health does come into this situation because he's missed 14 games in his career. 2020, he missed the last 7 games of the year. 2023, big-time calf injury, probably a lot worse, you know, than a lot of people thought. It's not an excuse for the play, but we talked about Russell Wilson in the training room the other day about how it affects, right? Last year, he missed 7 games, too. The 2 years that he's healthy, though, okay, he's got over 9,000 total yards combined and over 76 touchdowns. So, Joe Burrow, it's not about your reputation. For me, it's about can you stay healthy enough? Okay, they lost in the Super Bowl in 2021, and they lost in the AFC Championship in 2022. They also lost Joe Mixon to the Houston Texans, who went off for $140, okay? They also lost some other guys. T. Higgins, not sure if you can play. Jamar Chase, okay, when I'm watching the film of this game with Jamar Chase, they didn't look like they were on the same page. And you know why? Because Jamar Chase held out the entire training camp. And now you've got to go into Arrowhead in the loudest stadium in the world. The decibel, they got the world record, okay, even louder. And you got to make sure, and you're communicating at the line of scrimmage, that you get the right thing. They looked off a beat for whatever reason.
Is Joe Burrow healthy now?
I have no idea. But did you see the thing of him, like,
because
picking up the water bottle?
That's probably what we're going to say if he doesn't play well.
And that shouldn't matter.
Well, it should not matter.
Because
Well, I don't know. It's speculative. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you if he's hurt or
I'm
not.
just saying because it's week 1, and we saying he's healthy against the Patriots, and he scored 10 points. Then he's not healthy Then he's not healthy beginning of last year with all these weapons, and in 4 games they averaged 12 points.
Yeah,
That was bad. It was bad.
I'm not going to go to his reputation because I think he has enough equity. He's earned that right because he is a good player. He's one of the best in the league. But James is right about giving him passes. I don't want to give him passes because you hurt. A lot of guys are hurt. Jalen Hurts last year, was he hurt? Was he not hurt? So many question marks.
He was hurt.
We don't know, but it don't matter. When you step on that field, we need you to produce. So when we look at him going against Patrick Mahomes again, right? You love to say it's a rivalry. I don't think it's a rivalry. One team's won championships. The other team is just doing well, right? I need Joe Burrow to go out there and show me who you really are because I think you a top 3 quarterback. You think that. You think that. Hopefully,
I do that thing.
Well, show us, though, right? I don't want to hear about your wrist hurting. I don't want to hear about Jamar Chase. He didn't play in the preseason. I don't want to hear about T. Higgins might not. I don't want to hear none of that. Joe Mixon, that's cool. He's gone. You making $55 million a year because you like that.
Yeah.
You won a Heisman, right? Then he won a Heisman, and he won a championship.
Didn't win a Heisman, but won a championship.
Well, he was good.
Oh, he did.
He was good. So look, I need to see it, bro. That's all I need. I need to see
Definitely
it.
won.
Really
He
quick.
had the best season of all in college history.
Really quick, Acho, before you go, because you have Joe Burrow as your number 2 quarterback behind Patty. And the main reason why you have Joe Burrow as your number 2 quarter behind Patty, because we talked about this, is because of the it factor.
Yes.